Okay, let's dive into this. Picture this, right? Perfect summer day,
Mm.
sun's out, water looks amazing, cool, inviting.
The classic scene.
Exactly.
Mm.
You look at the surface, seems totally calm, no obvious danger signs. And hey, maybe you're a decent swimmer.
You feel pretty safe.
You do. Maybe you're thinking, yeah, I'll jump in. But what if the biggest danger isn't something you can actually see?
Yeah.
What if it's invisible, right under that calm surface, and it can hit you in, like, seconds?
It's amazing, isn't it, how much we judge water safety just by looking at the top layer. That smooth, glassy surface. It can hide some really powerful, really lethal hazards.
Yeah.
That calm look is often, well, a dangerous illusion.
And that illusion, that's exactly what this deep dive is really about. We've been going through a whole lot of sources looking at these hidden dangers in water, the ones we just don't tend to notice.
Mm.
So our mission today is basically to unpack the reality of water safety, to reveal these threats that can turn a great day out into, well, a tragedy, sometimes incredibly fast.
But it's not just for swimmers, is it?
That's the shocking part. Even for strong swimmers, or maybe even more chillingly, for people who never, ever intended to get wet at all.
Yeah, that pull to get close when it's warm, dip your feet in, maybe jump. It's strong. But these hidden dangers, they don't exactly announce themselves, do they?
Not at all.
They're like these invisible assassins hiding just below, making the water's edge and the water itself much riskier than they look.
Okay, so let's talk specifics. These invisible assassins. The sources really flag a few key ones that are particularly sneaky. First one, and maybe the most counterintuitive, cold water shock.
Yeah, this is absolutely critical to understand. And it's not just about, swimming in winter.
Right.
Cold water shock is a huge danger even on warm summer days because those inland waters, lakes, rivers, reservoirs, they stay surprisingly cold pretty much year-round.
Even when the air is hot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The sources mention UK rivers often hang around 12 degrees Celsius. That's about 54 Fahrenheit. Even coastal waters might only hit, 15 to 20 Celsius, maybe 59 to 68 Fahrenheit, right at the peak of summer.
And it doesn't need to be freezing cold to cause a problem, does it?
Not at all. That's the key thing. Water that feels, well, maybe even okay-ish, say 21 to 25 Celsius, which is 70 to 77 Fahrenheit.
Ah.
Even that can trigger a pretty significant shock response.
Ah.
But anything below about 15 or 16 Celsius, so below 60 Fahrenheit, that's where the risk gets really serious.
Yeah, so what happens? You jump in or fall in?
Your body just reacts. It's completely involuntary. The first thing is this immediate, uncontrollable gasp for air, followed by hyperventilation. You start breathing maybe 10 times faster than normal.
And that gasp.
Yeah.
That's the killer moment if your head goes under, right?
Precisely. If you gasp and your mouth and nose are underwater, you're going to inhale water. It's unavoidable. And the sources say it only takes about half a pint of water, like less than a standard cup, getting into your lungs to start the drowning process.
Half a pint, that's nothing.
It's tiny. And your swimming ability, totally irrelevant at that point. It's a reflex, not a skill issue. And then, on top of that gasp, the cold triggers this whole physiological cascade. Your heart rate shoots up, blood pressure spikes.
Which could cause a heart attack.
Yeah, or a stroke, even if you're young and healthy. It's the sudden shock to the system. And here's the crucial bit. This is not hypothermia. Hypothermia takes time, getting gradually colder.
That's right. This is instant.
Instant. It hits in under a minute, usually. And it's immediately incapacitating. Many people who experience this, they might not even make it back to the surface after that initial gasp.
Wow. Okay, so it's not about how well you swim. It's about this automatic, potentially fatal reaction to sudden cold. Especially terrifying if you just, fall in unexpectedly.
Exactly.
Okay, so beyond the cold shock, what else is lurking under that calm surface? You mentioned hidden currents.
Yeah, another one that totally plays against what you see. Still water, glassy water. It can hide really powerful currents flowing just beneath.
Where are these most common? Rivers, obviously, but...
Yeah, rivers, for sure, but also lakes and reservoirs, especially near structures. Think locks, bridges, weirs. Anywhere the water flow is kind of squeezed or changed.
Right. And rip currents, we usually think of those at the beach, but the sources mention them elsewhere.
Yeah, good point. The sources do say rip currents can happen in big lakes, too. These strong, narrow channels pulling away from the shore.
And the danger there is just being swept away.
Yeah, swept away from safety faster than you can swim back. You start to panic, get exhausted, fighting something you can't even see properly. The real problem is you often don't feel how strong it is until you're already caught.
Making it really hard to get out.
Exactly.
Okay, so you might be fighting a current you didn't see, Or you might just run into stuff under the water. Hidden debris, sudden drop-offs. Tell us about those.
No, natural water bodies are, unpredictable underneath. You can have these sudden, steep drop-offs just feet away from what looks like a nice, gentle slope. Or there's hidden debris, could be anything. Submerged branches, big rocks, or even stuff people have chucked in, like shopping carts, bits of old construction material.
And if the water's murky.
You've got no idea what's down there. Murky water just hides everything, massively increases the risk of getting injured, hitting something, or worse, getting tangled or trapped.
Like with weeds.
Yeah, aquatic weeds, too. They can look like nothing from above, or you might not see them at all, but they can easily wrap around your legs. If you panic, it's incredibly hard to break free.
Okay, so nature has its hidden traps. But what about the ones we've built? Man-made structures in water.
Ah.
The sources mention something called low-head dams.
Yes, these are particularly nasty. They actually have a nickname, Browning machines.
That sounds ominous.
It is, and what makes them so dangerous is they often look pretty harmless. Maybe just a small waterfall, a little weir, or just water flowing smoothly over a concrete wall, creating this kind of flat horizon line.
Okay, so what's the mechanism?
It's the current they create at the base. The water goes over, drops down, and then curls back on itself underneath. It creates this incredibly powerful recirculating current, like a washing machine on tumble dry, basically.
A roller effect.
Exactly, a hydraulic roller. And it just traps you.
Traps you how?
It's a relentless cycle. Swimmers, people in boats, even people wearing life jackets can get caught. They get pulled under, pushed out slightly, then pulled back towards the dam face again and again.
Oh, my.
Escaping takes massive effort, specific techniques. Often you need professional rescue. And tragically, people who try to rescue someone without proper training often become victims themselves.
Because they get caught, too.
They get caught, too. And if debris gets stuck on the dam face, it can make that churning current even worse. The sources mention over 1,000 deaths linked to these low-head dams in the U.S. recently.
1,000? For something that looks so minor. That's terrifying.
It really is.
Are there other man-made risks we should know about? Other infrastructure?
Definitely. Anytime we mess with waterways, we can create hazards. Think about sudden water releases from big dams upstream. They can cause water levels to surge really quickly downstream, create powerful currents out of nowhere.
Stranding people, maybe.
Yeah, potentially stranding people who thought they were on safe ground near the edge. Or think about other water infrastructure, pipes, tunnels, culverts. If someone accidentally fell in and ended up in one, huge risk of entrapment. Plus, you can get hazardous gases or low oxygen in those confined spaces.
Hearing about all these invisible, deceptive threats, it really makes you realize how fast things can go wrong. The statistics, they paint a pretty bleak picture, don't they?
They do. Drowning is a major cause of accidental death worldwide. And focusing on that UK data the sources mentioned, nearly 60% of accidental drownings happen inland. Reservoirs, lakes, rivers.
And often on nice days, right, when you least expect it.
Exactly. People out enjoying the weather. But here's the really crucial bit, the thing that changes everything.
Go on.
Many of the victims never actually planned to go in the water.
Wait, really? How?
They just slipped or tripped near the edge, fell in unexpectedly.
Wow.
And that just highlights how quickly these hidden dangers, the cold shock hitting instantly, the disorientation, maybe an unseen current right there at the edge, how quickly they turn a simple slip into a fatal event. You don't have to be swimming, just being near the edge is a risk.
Yeah, that's a game changer in how you think about it. And who's most at risk? The stats mention men.
Statistically, yes, men, especially young men, are overrepresented, often linked to, maybe more risk-taking, sometimes alcohol is involved, and this is vital, the actual dangers themselves. Cold shock, currents, falling in, they affect everyone.
Regardless of age, gender, fitness.
Absolutely. Anyone can slip. Anyone's body will react to that cold shock. Anyone can get caught by a hidden current. These dangers don't discriminate.
You can picture it easily, can't you? A family having a picnic, kids playing near what looks like a gentle slope, but there's a sudden drop-off right there.
Or friends messing about near an old quarry, jumping in, not realizing the water just below the surface is lethally cold.
Or just someone walking their dog gets a bit too close to the edge near a weir or something.
These things happen every year. And often, these spots are kind of remote, right?
Yeah.
Bad phone signal, hard for emergency services to get there quickly. It just compounds the tragedy.
Okay, so this is all quite sobering. Faced with dangers you can't see that strike fast, even if you're just near the edge. How do we protect ourselves? How do we keep people safe? The sources must offer some advice.
They do, and it really starts with awareness. Just knowing this stuff exists. That's your first line of defense.
Knowledge is power, basically.
Absolutely. You have to understand that calm water does not automatically mean safe water. Assume there could be hidden hazards.
Okay, let's break down the practical strategies. Tackling cold water shock first. What's the key advice?
Assume the water is cold. Especially inland water, assume it's colder than it looks all year round. If you do decide to go in, get in SLOWLY.
Acclimatize.
Yes. Wade in bit by bit. Let your body get used to the temperature difference. Never ever just jump or dive straight in, especially if you don't know the water.
And if you do fall in unexpectedly, that's the critical moment.
It is, and the advice from safety orgs like the RNLI is crystal clear. Float to live.
Float to live, okay.
Your immediate instinct when that cold hits is to gasp, maybe thrash around, try to swim hard, but that can be fatal because of the hyperventilation and shock. Instead, fight that instinct. Lean back in the water. Spread your arms and legs out wide to help you float.
Like a starfish.
Kinda, yeah. Gently paddle your hands if you need to, just to stay afloat. But the main thing is, focus entirely on controlling your breathing. Get that gasp reflex and hyperventilation under control. It usually takes about 60 to 90 seconds for that initial intense shock to pass.
Just focus on floating and breathing for that first minute or so.
Exactly. Once your breathing is calmer, then you can think. Call for help if you can. Or figure out how to swim gently towards safety, but survive that initial minute first.
That makes so much sense. Float first. Okay. What about hidden currents? How do we deal with those?
Look for warning signs, if there are any. But mostly, just be extra cautious near structures, bridges, locks, weirs again, where currents are often strongest or weirdest.
And if you get caught?
Don't fight it head on. Don't try to swim directly back against the current towards where you came from. You'll just wear yourself out.
Right.
Instead, swim parallel to the shore or the bank, across the current. Get yourself out of the strongest part of the flow first, then angle towards the edge in safety.
Swim sideways out of it, then head in. Got it. And those low-head dams, the drowning machines.
Simple advice here. Stay away. Completely. Learn what they look like, that smooth horizon line, the concrete walls. Keep a very wide berth.
What if you're like kayaking down a river?
Get out well upstream, way before the dam. Carry your boat around at portage, it's called, and get back in the water well downstream, far away from that dangerous roller current at the base. Don't even get close.
Okay, avoid them entirely. And checking for debris or drop-offs.
Again, never dive into water you don't know. If it's murky, if you can't see the bottom, enter really gradually. Wade in, step by step. Feel the bottom with your feet. Check the depth. Feel for obstacles before you go any deeper.
Makes sense. Safety in numbers seems like a good idea, too.
Definitely. Don't swim alone. Always let someone know where you're going and roughly when you expect to be back.
Carry a phone.
Absolutely. Carry a fully charged phone. And maybe look into those location apps, like what 3 words the sources mention. If you get into trouble somewhere remote, it can help emergency services pinpoint exactly where you are fast.
Good tip. What about life jackets? We think boats, obviously, but should we be using them more?
The advice is pretty much use a properly fitted life jacket or buoyancy aid for any activity on or near the water where falling in is a risk, especially if cold water shock is likely.
So not just boating, like fishing from the bank, paddle boarding.
Yeah, fishing, paddleboarding, kayaking, even on seemingly calm lakes. If you fall in unexpectedly, that cold shock can incapacitate you instantly. A life jacket keeps your head above water, keeps your airway clear. It buys you vital time.
Right. Crucial. And alcohol. Seems obvious, but...
Yeah, the sources reinforce it. Alcohol is a major factor in a lot of drownings. It messes with your judgment, your coordination, even how your body handles the cold. Best advice.
Yeah.
If you're going to be around water, especially somewhere with these kinds of hidden risks, just avoid alcohol altogether.
Okay. And finally, what if you see someone else in trouble? Your instinct might be to jump in.
Don't jump in. That's the absolute first rule. Call for help immediately. 999 here in the UK, 112 in Europe, 911 in North America. Get the professionals on their way.
Why not jump in?
Because you could so easily become a second victim. Whatever got them the cold, the current, getting tangled could get you too, especially if you're panicking.
Okay, so call for help first, then what?
From the safety of the bank, shout instructions. Tell them to try and float on their back. Float to live. If there's anything nearby that floats, a life ring, a rope, even a big plastic bottle or a sturdy branch, throw it to them. Reach with something if you can, but don't go in yourself.
Reach or throw, don't
Yeah.
go.
Exactly.
So the big takeaway here, the call to action really is these dangers might be invisible to the naked eye, but knowing about them makes them visible, right?
Precisely.
And we need to share this knowledge, talk about it with friends, family, anyone who likes being near water, rivers, lakes, reservoirs, quarries. This information could genuinely save someone's life.
It's about building a healthier respect for the water, isn't it? Understanding its power, its hidden challenges, even when it looks completely peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. Water's amazing, it's fun, but it demands that respect, that vigilance. As we've seen from these sources, the really deadly threats, cold shock, hidden currents, those deceptive dams, unseen stuff underwater, they're often the ones you just can't see.
And that critical point again, so many victims weren't even planning to swim. They were just near the edge, which really underlines how vital caution is, even if you're just, enjoying view from the bank.
This isn't about making people scared of water. Not at all. It's just about being smarter, being informed, being prepared for what might be under the surface.
So maybe the final thought is this. The next time you find yourself near water, a lake, a river, whatever, just take a second, pause, look at it, sure, but try to look beyond that surface calm.
Ask yourself.
Yeah, ask yourself, what risks might be hidden here? Knowing the possibilities, being cautious, knowing those safety steps, that's your best defense. It's how you avoid becoming one of those statistics. Stay safe, stay aware, and always, always respect the water.